Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity to practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, so welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Conor Brooks. This episode is basically, some good news in the April, I finished the initial cleaning of the backyard, it it took a while. It was the whole month, it was the whole month, but we did it. And what the initial cleaning means that, all the big stuff, the big mess is gone. So, we done that. And only like now we just do maybe a weekly cleaning and then boom. Like there's some other stuff that I would maybe do if I have the time, and then if it actually bugs me enough, But we done that. We actually finished that, and that's what one of the things that I'm trying to explain, that if you just do the one big initial thing the first time, it, consecutive times it just mostly leaves, it's not all those big stuff that I was dealing with, it just leaves, and it's the place is more leveled, so you don't have to really, it's not much of an issue, but I can't even lie, this was a journey, because even the iron rake got some damage. That's so much. That's so bad it was. It got some damage. That's wild. But we actually did it, and now there's some other stuff that I want to do, or another minor thing. But I guess from that minor thing, it's actually finished. Well, it's not minor. It actually is going to take work as well. But for I guess this week, we can say the major thing is done, and it does, and as I actually finish it, some more things have been planted and stuff like that. So it's good, we're good, and so now, as I said, is the other thing that I'm going to do to move some rocks and stones. I guess I can mention it. Move some rocks and stones to some different places, and then to make the yard more appeasing. And then after that, I guess every major thing about the the yard is actually would be kind of done, it just would be just maintenance after this. Maybe I'll find something else to do, there's other things to do, but they can do in time. Yeah, and there's, as I said, the risk is still there. A lot of bad things can happen still, but as I said before, in from the renting versus buying versus owning, if you actually survive it, it will be worth it. So that's the thing. It will be worth it. And all these things that I'm doing now, if I suppose I was doing all this work for basically renting a place, I'm just basically putting it up for the landlord, Yes, me. So that's what basically one of the initial things. It's a way to kind of test my vision, do it, and then if it comes alive, I'll see my vision come to fruition, and that would be just so great, that would be so great. All those many things that I've been talking about just coming to life, I'll be like, wow, yeah. So this was basically a mini rant, but just an update to say, yeah, we did it, and other thing to say, it was push through and persevere, and things will work out. Alright, so thank you for listening and look forward for the next episode. Yeah.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
Quality versus quantity, because as every person on their wealth are getting rich journey or whatever journey, I guess this is one of the more important things. You over time will realize that that's basically the two choice you're actually working with, because in these modern days things are changing. Money money is changing. Money is more not as simple as it used to be. Usually back in the days just have paper and coin, but now you have things like cryptocurrency, all these things and all these other stuff. But all those stuff, if you over time you realize that it's just fluff. Is good, but it's fluff to what you really want.